Get more now on Manchester United. Derby Day defeat to Manchester City leaves Ruben Amorim's side with just 4 points from their opening 4 games. There has been plenty of focus on Amorim sticking with his favoured 3-4-3 formation, but the manager is adamant he will stick to his philosophy.
There are a lot of things that you have no idea what happened during these months, but I accept that. But I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. So, and we'll talk about that every game that we lose. I don't believe in that in the system or whatever. I play my way, and I'm going to play my will until I want to change.
So what will come next for Amorim and United? On Saturday they play Chelsea on the Saturday night football before a trip to Brentford, followed by a home game against Sunderland. After the next international break they face leaders Liverpool at Anfield and Brighton at home. Well, Gary Neville says that if they are continuing to struggle going into October, Amorim's job will come under serious scrutiny.
Ruben Amorim is going to come under big pressure. He's going to come under big pressure. Manchester United are 14th in the league. Now, it's only a few games in. It's 4 games in. But next week, if Manchester United lose and they go to 15th and 16th, it's 5 games in. And before you know it, you're in October and Manchester United are in the bottom half of the table. And that's where they couldn't be, having spent £200 million, having him had a pre-season. Yeah, they might be 7th, 8th, 9th. They could be in those types of positions, but they can't be in the bottom half of the table. So there's got to be a quick turnaround pretty quickly. And the manager's idea has got to land very quickly with the players. Now, I'm not saying here today, I don't think there's any suggestion, and I'm not suggesting that, the players have got down tools on him. They've not, but they're struggling a little bit. They're struggling, and I'm worried. I'm worried about the manager. I'm worried about what's going to happen in this next few weeks. I don't think it's a time for panic. But I've seen this before. We've seen this film, haven't we?
Yeah, so Gary Neville saying he's worried, but the club say they remain patient with the Manchester United boss. We'll have the very latest on Ruben Amorim next. Manchester United remain patient with Ruben Amorim despite their worst start to a Premier League season for 33 years. Yeah, welcome back. A meek showing from United in Derby Day has once again led to scrutiny on Amorim's reign. An update on how the club view his performance in just a moment. We start though with Manchester United. Their 3-0 derby defeat to Manchester City leaves United on 4 points after as many games. That's their worst start to a Premier League season since 1992. But the club remain patient with Ruben Amorim. Well, for the very latest, we can join our football correspondent Rob Dorset. Rob, what do we know then about how secure Amorim's position is at Old Trafford right now?
Well, Joe, we don't know an awful lot. I think it's very, very clear that the pressure is mounting on Ruben Amorim, and former Manchester United superstars like Wayne Rooney, Gary Neville, Roy Keane are all lining up to say that they're not seeing much improvement under the current manager and they worry about the future. My understanding is that whilst Ruben Amorim has said he will not change his footballing philosophy, his bosses at Manchester United have no current plans to change the head coach. Why? Well, because they have a long-term plan in place. And if you look at what's happened since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club 12 years ago, Manchester United have had 2 caretakers and 8 substantive managers since then. I don't think there's any desire to rip up the plan with Ruben Amorim and go for a 9th manager in charge, although all sides are accepting that performances and results simply aren't good enough right now. And the concern, I think, for United fans is how long this has been going on. Ruben Amorim's had 10.5 months in charge now. He's had a pre-season. He's had nearly £200 million of new talent bought in the summer. And yet, look at those stats there. Only 8 wins out of the 31 matches he's played. If you look at the Premier League table since he took charge, now this table, we should stress, is 17 clubs because we've taken out the clubs that are promoted and relegated. So of the 17 that have remained, Manchester United have the worst form record of any of them since Amorim took over. And there's another one as well. If you look at Amorim's win percentage, well, it's not great. It's the worst of any Manchester United manager since the Second World War. So it's painful right now to watch all of this. Ruben Amorim accepts that it's painful and that the supporters are suffering, but he says he's suffering more trying to get things right. And I think from the club's perspective, they are patient with him. they're seeing signs of improvement in the data that they're looking at. So they don't want to change things right now, but it would be wrong to suggest that anybody is happy with exactly what's happening at Manchester United. Nothing is of the standard they want it to be. I think the Manchester United bosses think it's going to take some time, though, to get it where they want it to be.
And from Amorim's perspective, I mean, are there any mitigating circumstances that he can point to which may excuse such poor performances?
To an extent, yes. I mean, if you look at the stats from yesterday's game against Manchester City, they don't suggest that United deserved a 3-0 defeat. And of course, had Brian Mbeumo's brilliant volley gone in instead of Gianluigi Donnarumma making a world-class save on his City debut, had Casemiro tapped in at the back post when he looked offside but he wasn't, it might have been a very different scoreline and had a different gloss on it. You can point to some of the injury problems they've got as well. Mason Mount and Matheus Cunha had both brilliant starts to the season and were looking two important players for Manchester United. They weren't available yesterday because of injury. I'm told neither of those injuries are long-term, so they hope to get those back. And I think when you lose two players like that with where Manchester United are right now, it's damaging. They don't have the strength and depth of the other big six clubs in terms of quality within the squad. They're trying to get there. It's going to take them several transfer windows until they reach that point. And I think you talk about Benjamin Sesko as well and him adapting. He's had some criticism. That was his first Premier League start for Manchester United yesterday. He's been integrated slowly by Ruben Amorim. I think there are question marks over Amorim's formation and his philosophy and his style of play. He will stick rigidly, defiantly to this back three, even though at times it doesn't seem to be working in the game. And there are question marks from some United supporters, a lot of United supporters, about his midfield choices with Kobbie Mainoo sitting on the bench and yet to start a game. He made an impact when he came on for the last half an hour yesterday. But my understanding is that Amorim is working quite a lot behind the scenes with the 20-year-old to try and make him the finished article. He doesn't think he's that yet. And so he doesn't think he's worthy of a full 90 minutes every week. Doesn't have the experience levels of Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, for example. So I think those are debatable points, but it's not working at the moment for Ruben Amorim, that's for sure. The noise is growing from outside the club, but my understanding is there's no noise within the club at Manchester United right now. They're taking a patient view of the head coach's future, albeit all of them want to see change as quickly as possible. But I don't think you can get away from the fact that it's Chelsea at Old Trafford on the Saturday night football next weekend. If United were to get a poor result there and a poor performance, there would be more difficult questions for Ruben Amorim to answer and more calls for him to be sacked from outside the club. We don't know yet, and it's unlikely, from what I'm being told, that those calls would be met with any action from inside the club.
OK, Rob, for now, thank you very much. So United are staying patient, but let's take a look at what is on the horizon for Amorim and his side then. As Rob mentioned, on Saturday they play Chelsea in the Saturday night football before a trip to Brentford, followed by a home game against Sunderland. After the next international break, they face leaders Liverpool at Anfield and then Brighton at home. Former United defender Gary Neville says that if they're continuing to struggle going into October, Amorim's job will come under serious scrutiny.
Ruben Amorim is going to come under big pressure. He's going to come under big pressure. Manchester United are 14th in the league. Now, it's only a few games in. It's 4 games in. But next week, if Manchester United lose and they go to 15th and 16th, it's 5 games in. And before you know it, you're in October and Manchester United are in the bottom half of the table. And that's where they couldn't be, having spent £200 million, having him had a pre-season. Yeah, they might be 7th, 8th, 9th. They could be in those types of positions, but they can't be in the bottom half of the table. So there's got to be a quick turnaround pretty quickly. And the manager's idea has got to land very quickly with the players. Now, I'm not saying here today, I don't think there's any suggestion, and I'm not suggesting that, the players have got down tools on him. They've not, but they're struggling a little bit. They're struggling, and I'm worried. I'm worried about the manager. I'm worried about what's going to happen in this next few weeks. I don't think it's a time for panic. But I've seen this before. We've seen this film, haven't we?
If the players start doubting this system, and we saw some of the goals they're giving up today, where some are going, some aren't, some are pressing, he's making loads of changes, he's chopping it back with the Maguire at the back, he's bringing Casemiro, and it's like they're going on in circles, this United group. And if the players have lost faith in what the manager's saying, because usually what you want, you're sitting in the dressing room, when the manager says something, you're like, yeah, I'm all in. But if some of the players are now starting to doubt that, I'm not saying they are, but when you see some of the goals they're giving away, you're going, are you all fully on board with this manager going, listen, yeah, whatever you say, we'll do it. We'll run through brick walls for you. I don't quite see it yet. I hope it can change, but We've given the benefit of when he first came in. He didn't want to come in. He said he wanted to come into pre-season, but obviously United said, you've got to come in. So results weren't great. Go, okay, listen, first pre-season, give me a pre-season, give me my players. And United are throwing money. And if these are brilliant coaches, you go, well, when are you going to coach these players to make them better?
Well, there's been a lot of debate about Amorim's tactics. Michael Dawson says that Amorim's lack of flexibility has been to United's detriment.
I think it's about being adaptable, and you talk about this. Every game can't be the same. If you're playing against a different opposition, we watched a different game in Burnley yesterday. They went to a back 5, back 6 at sometimes. Different ways of trying to pick up points. And no problem. I've got no problem with playing a back 3 and 4 in midfield, 3 attackings. But there's times when you go, every game isn't the same. Change at times and try and get... Because otherwise, if you don't change, you're getting the same results. It's going to be the same outcome. And that he's going to come under pressure on it all the time. But I listened to him. He was clear as day again when he came out yesterday. He is not going to change. And at times, that means the same outcome. And that means losing football matches, unfortunately, for Manchester United.
And a manager front, let's just say, fast forward 6 months, Manchester United make the change. What manager, up-and-coming manager, is going to want to take that job at Manchester United? And also, Manchester United need to go in that direction where they think, oh, we need to get the top managers, we need to get experienced, etc., etc. No, it's not an attractive job. No one's looking at it going, oh, I could change that around.
If you've got an ego, it is, though. If you've got an ego, imagine being the manager that turns Manchester United around. If you've got an ego and you back yourself.
That's not a quick fix, though, chaps. That's not a quick fix.
There is absolutely no quick fix to Man United, and I don't think any Man United fans that get accused of you ain't got the stomach for a rebuild and all of this nonsense I keep hearing. I don't think that's fair on those fans. I don't think it's fair to see a sample size this big and this bad, breaking all types of records with no improvement in the team, for fans to be concerned. It definitely feels like playing this way and continuing this way with this manager is just not. We can already see it's not sustainable, in my opinion.